everyone, welcome to Miss Lee's class. Today we're going to learn negative exponent. Okay, so when you have a negative exponent like this, we're going to learn what this number means. Alright? Okay, in the previous lesson we learned when you have 5 to the power of 4 divided by 5 to the power of 6, you subtract. Using the quotient law, you're going to subtract. Then 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Then it becomes 5 to the power of negative 2. Then what is the value of 5 to the power of negative 2? So when you think about it first, so do you think this is a negative number? Or is it a positive number? Alright, let's think about it, everyone. Here, I want you to look at this chart. At every step, 8 becomes 4, 4 becomes 2. So at every step, each number is divided by one number. Divided by 2. So 8 divided by 2 becomes 4. 4 divided by 2 becomes 2. And what's 2 divided by 2? It is 1. So we know something to the power of 0 equals 1. And everyone, so 3, 2, 1, 0, and negative 1. So next step, what do you get? That is 1 over 2. And then the next step, what do you get? That is 1 over 2 squared. Is that right? Because when you divide 1 over 2 by 2, and it is same as multiply and flip the number, it becomes 1 over 2 times 1 over 2, it is 1 over 2 squared. Same thing. So let's divide this number by 2 again. So divided by 2. So when you divide a number, a fraction by a number, you change it to like 2 over 1. And change it to multiplication and flip the number. And it becomes 1 over 2 cubed. Alright, everyone. So do you see any pattern here? Look at those negative exponents. So this is 1 is hiding here. When there's no exponent, that means 1 hiding. Okay, 1 over 2 to the power of 1. And when it is 2 to the power of negative 2, it is 1 over 2 squared. And when it is 2 to the power of negative 3, it is 1 over 3 cubed. So do you guys see any pattern? I see the pattern. So when you have 2 to the power of negative 5, what do you have? That is 1 over 2 to the power of 5. Is that right? So basically, when you have 2 to the power of negative n, that is 1 over 2 to the power of n. So basically, you can just flip the number. So 2 becomes 1 over 2 and make the exponent positive. Same thing, you can just flip this number, which becomes 1 over 2, and make the exponent positive. Flip the number and make the exponent positive. That's the pattern. Okay, let's evaluate it. So this is 1 over 4, and this is 1 over 8. So as you see, when you have negative exponent, it does not become a negative number. It becomes a fraction, like 1 over 4. Right? Flip the number and make the exponent positive. So 2 to the power of negative 3, 1 over 8. Okay, let's do the same thing for power of 3. So each step, the number is divided by 3. So 27 divided by 3 is 9. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 3 to the power of negative 1 is 1 over 3. And that is 1 over 3 squared. And 1 over 3 cubed. Just basically flip the number. Becomes 1 over 3 and make the exponent positive. Same thing for power of 10. Each step, so you can just divide each number by 10. But power of 10 is very special. So 10 cubed. This indicates the number of 0. So it's 1000. Power 10 squared, 100. 10 to the power 1 is 10. So each step divided by 10. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. And 1 divided by 10 is 1 over 10, which is 0.1. Flip the number, make the exponent positive. So this is 1 over 100. That is 0.01. 1 over 10 cubed. That is 0.001. All right. So this number indicates the number decimal places below the decimal point. So you have 1 decimal place. And 2, you have 2 decimal places. 3, you have 3 decimal places. Okay? And this number indicates the number of 0. Alright. So here, when you're writing out power of 10, the exponent tells us how many zeros are after 1. So when the exponent is positive, so you say when the exponents are positive. And I want you to write it down here. When the exponents are negative, it tells you how many decimal places you have below the decimal point. Alright everyone, let's move on. So 1 to the power of negative 3. So you have to flip 1. Let's flip 1. That is just a 1 over 1. When you flip 1, 1 is 1. So 1 over 1 and make the exponent positive. So that is 1 over 1. The answer is 1. And as I told you, negative 2, this is not the sign of this sign of the number. This is just a sign of the exponent. So what you have to do is flip the number, make the exponent positive. So you basically write it like this. When you have 1 over 3 to the power of 2, so you can just change it to 1 squared, 3 squared, and it becomes 1 over 3 squared. Okay? And it is 1 over 9. I just omitted this process, and I just wrote this form, like here. This is actually flip the number, and you have to put bracket, make the exponent positive. But 1 cubed is 1, right? 1 cubed, 2 cubed, 1 cubed is 1. That's why I just wrote it like 1 over 2 cubed. Okay? So remember that when you flip a number, you always need to put bracket around it. Alright. So we know 3 to the power of negative 2 is 1 over 9. And negative 3 squared is, so look at this everyone. The exponent always applies to a number directly in front of it. So then that becomes not what minus. So you don't apply the exponent to the negative sign. So negative 3 squared, which is 9. So the answer is negative 9. So do you see the difference between this number and this number? Alright, let's move on. So express as a decimal, 10 to the power of negative 4. So that is 1 over 10 to the power of 4. As I said, the process is like this. 1 over 10, flip the number, make the exponent positive, and it becomes 1 to the power of 4, 10 to the power of 4. 1 to the power of 4 becomes 1, 10 to the power of 4. And that is 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 zeros. So everyone, when you have 4 zeros, starting from your decimal point is here. You move 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Then your number will be, your decimal point will be placed here. It will be 0.0001. So the answer is 0.0001. And as I said, this is indicating the decimal places. 4 is indicating the decimal places, the number of decimal places below the decimal point. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Make sense, everyone? All right. Evaluate A, B, C, D. Okay, this looks really tricky, and everyone, but I want you to remember this. So when you have negative exponent in the bottom, flipping and changing the location are the same process. So you can, instead of flipping it, you can just move this over to the top and make the exponent positive. Okay? And this one does not have negative exponent, so you do not move it down. So it will be just 1 times 2 to the power of 3. So this one just stay there. And since you move this over to the top, you should have 1 over here. So the answer will be 2 cubed, which is 8. Same thing here. So you have the negative exponent in the bottom. And since you have negative exponent, instead of flipping it, you're gonna just change it to the top. So move it to the top. It becomes 3 squared. And look at 5. 5 does not have negative exponent. You can just leave it there. And the answer will be 5 times 3 squared, which is 5 times 9. And that is 45 over 1. 45. Okay, here you have a to the power of negative 2. You move it to the top, but b cubed does not have negative exponent. It's just stay there. And you're going to move this to the top and make the exponent positive. And the answer is b cubed a squared. So alpha, or let's put it in alpha order. Then that is a squared b cubed over 1. And we can always omit the division bar and 1. Here, so you have the negative exponent in the top. So we're going to change the location. So we're going to move it to the bottom. Then that is x squared. And you have negative exponent in the bottom. We're going to change the location. That is x to the power of 5. So now we have x to the power of 5, x squared. Then let's use the quotient law. Then the answer will be x cubed. So remember, everyone, so 2 steps when you have a negative exponent. First, flip the number. Flip the base, I would say flip the base, or move the location. Top goes to the bottom, or bottom goes to the top. So this is the first step. And second step, make the exponent positive. Okay, that is it for today, everyone. And I'm gonna show you guys a very funny song. It's called Exponent Rule Song. Alright, listen to this.
Powers with the same base, add them up. Write it out, you count them up. Fractions or negatives, follow the rule. Powers with the same base, add them up. power to a power you multiply. Write it out, and you'll see why. Negatives and fractions follow the rule. A power to a power you multiply. A quotient with like bases you subtract. Powers cancel just like that. Negatives and fractions follow the rule. A quotient with like bases you subtract. A number raised to 0 is just 1. Super simple and you're done. Don't look for it, it'll come to you. A number raised to 0 is just 1. Negative powers won't do at all. Make it positive, take reciprocals. Move it to the other place is all you do. Negative powers won't do at all. The product of powers is the power of the product. Write it out and reconstruct it. Distribute the power is all you do. The product of powers is the power of the product. One more.